So I was scrolling Twitter as one does when they want their daily fix of depression, and came across a tweet that I just felt I had to make a video on. The tweet in question comes from a Twitter user that mainly does gaming and streaming news coverage, a person known as Jake Lucky. In his tweet, he showed a clip from a streamer known as Dr. Disrespect talking about how gaming has become boring and the work being put into these games are passionless. How this lack of passion is making it so that games aren't fun anymore, and how because of it, there isn't anything to play. In a follow-up tweet, he also uses an example of two other popular streamers, mainly known as Hungrybox and Shroud, going on about how games feel the same and how boring or bad a certain genre of games are becoming. Now, why do I feel the need to talk about this, you might ask? Well, it's because after watching the clip and reading the tweets previously stated, I had a lot of thoughts. It actually became kind of upset. So upset, in fact, that I went on a Twitter rant about it. Now, why did I become upset and why did I go on this Twitter rant? Is a question you might ask. And what are my reasons for it? Well, my dear YouTube viewer, it's because they're kind of wrong. They are wrong. They are. Let's look at the background of these three individuals in question. Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, and Hungrybox. Dr. Disrespect and Shroud are mainly players of first-person shooter type games, the latter being a big fan of MMOs and probably some other stuff I don't know about, while Hungrybox predominantly is a Smash player. All of that leading to the first issue. They only play one or two genres of games. One of the reasons why people complain about games coming out today in the first place is because they don't play other genres of games. Not saying that's like totally true, but for the most part, that is what it is. They mainly stick to one. If that one genre has a bad year, then some, not all, like I said, of those players complain about how boring or uninspiring the game this year are. When in actuality, that is just not the case. Especially if we look at this year, where I would argue this year has been the best year of gaming since 2018. Let's take a look at the Game Awards, for example. Not the awards themselves, but the nominees, as this is very recent, and a lot of those titles you might remember. This has been a very, very high-quality year. A year where high-quality AAA games such as Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West have come out and have had a huge success. It's for everybody involved and the fans of said games. These fans love these games. As one might do, these are all pretty good games. Then there's been some AAA games that don't get as much love as the formers, but they still get recognized or appreciated because they are genuinely great titles that, like I said, aren't as popular, but the fans of these titles are dedicated, and the Game Awards and these gaming critics have picked up on this fact. Games such as A Plague Tale Requiem, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, Immortality, Bayonetta 3, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Splatoon, Live Alive, KOF 15, and so much more. Even the indie games this year were phenomenal, not that they aren't in the first place. Games such as Neon White, Cult of the Lamb, Seafood, Tunic, Vampire Survivors, and Stray, the last of which was nominated for a freaking Game of the Year. And that's not even all of the games that came out this year. There are so many other well-received games that came out this year that I forgot to mention in my script, whether it be games I have played or I haven't played. My point here is that you can't play one game or one genre for 15 hours a day, 7 days a week, and say that games are getting boring and uninspired if you haven't gone out of your way to try these other games that so many developers have poured their hearts into. Games may be part of the same genre or may have environments or similar plots, but that doesn't mean there's not passion or effort that gets put into these games. Now let's say that you, for some reason, after all that, claim that all these games seem bad or look the same, and once again, these games are passionless and boring. One thing I like to do, and a lot of people like to do, is to go back and visit games they've never played from years past. If there isn't a game out there that interests them at the moment, they go back and find a game that they like to play. For the most part, my second channel is based around that idea. Link in the description, by the way. You don't mind checking that out. The games I've played on that channel are games that have come out in years past, and they end up being some of my favorite games. Games such as Devil May Cry 5, Yakuza Kiwami, Detroit Become Human, God of War 2018. Like I said, for the most part, my second channel is based around that idea. That doesn't mean I just play games that aren't from 2022. In fact, as I'm writing the script and recording the script, Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion releases tomorrow, and I'm very, very excited to start that on my channel. But if I don't have a game that's new to play on my channel, then I'll go back and play older games. Hell, it's the same way when I'm not making content. About 75 to 80% of the games I've played this year are older games. It's how I was able to play titles such as Final Fantasy VII Remake, Persona 5 Royal, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy IX, 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim, Life is Strange 2 Colors, and so much more. One of the games I played for the first time this year that is way older is Final Fantasy VI, and that game has become one of my favorites, if not my favorite game of all time. Seriously, if you haven't played Final Fantasy VI, I would highly recommend it. It's a masterpiece in every sense of the word. Now, with all that being said, I still respect these people that are able to play one game and pull thousands of viewers because of it, especially people like Hungrybox, because I love the Smash scene with all of my heart, and people like Hungrybox really do make it better to be there sometimes. All I'm saying is that in order to truly appreciate these games and to, not be bored all the time, is to experiment and branch out. Leave your comfort zone and try something new. If you don't like it, then you try something else. I, for one, think the future of the gaming industry is looking really good, with sequel games such as Spider-Man 2, Street Fighter 6, Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, Like a Dragon 8, and Final Fantasy 16 coming out. Those all look great. And new games such as Wo Long Fallen Dynasty, Starfield, Lies of P, and so much more coming out soon. I say that we have a bright future ahead of us when it comes to gaming. But seriously, go play Final Fantasy VI. It's really freaking good, and you will love it. I'm telling you, it is so good, and I just can't. I made a quick review on it. Just play the game. All right, bye!